What about the Eagles and the Bucks? The Eagles fall off needs to be studied. It is incredible what has happened since the Niners game for the Eagles. The Eagles were 10-1 and now they are 11-7. They lost to the 9-8 Bucks 32-9.
Yeah.
What happened to the Eagles? What is going on? Their secondary, they can't make tackles anymore. I thought they had a good defense at one point. They were pretty good. I mean, actually, earlier in the year, the statistics weren't going their way, but still, it's like they traded at the deadline for a safety. You know, they have the best offensive line in football. They can't do the tush push anymore. It doesn't work. Like the offense is stagnant.
Wait,
What is going on?
Well, first of all, what we need to do is remember our good buddy. Let's not forget our good buddy here. Here we go. Here he is, everybody.
Take a loss. Instead, they cried. You know, a real professional football team with real professional men take a loss. Instead, they cried about it. Oh, if our quarterback wasn't hurt, if you would have freaking blocked for him, he would have been hurt. You suck. You're not man enough to admit it. Now you're going to come back here and you're going to get your ass kicked again, and we're going to show you how men play. Not like those little whiners from the West Coast who drink their little wine with their pickies up and act like you're so superior. Guess what? This is Philly. You're going to lose. You suck.
Guess what? This is Philly, and you won one fucking game against the Giants after you made this stupid speech. Oh, my God. That was just such a – I had to dust off that one. How about the Eagles, though? I mean, seriously, they're 10-1. The Niners roll into their place, slap them around. They won one game the rest of the year. It was against the New York Giants. They got absolutely embarrassed tonight against the Eagles, against the Buccaneers. I mean, one Hurts. People last year who were mad at me when I was comparing Brock Purdy to Hurts. It's like, how's that comparison looking right now? I mean, who would take Jalen Hurts over Brock Purdy right now? Not too many people. He didn't play too good tonight. What happened to the Eagle run game? They averaged 2.8 a carry. What happened to their run defense? What happened to their pass defense? Tonight, it just looked like a 7-on-7 drill. Cade Otton, David Moore, Trey Palmer, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Payne Durham. These guys just made plays up and down the field. They weren't within a country mile of these receivers. I don't know if it's Sirianni. I don't know if it's Sean Desai, Matt Patricia, losing two of their coordinators, saying goodbye to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They sacked the quarterback 70 times this year, 70 times last year, 43 times this year. I mean, what can you say? I mean, maybe they're getting old. You saw Travis Kelce giving it to Jason Kelce in his, when he started making excuses, and he started going, hey, the excuse train is in town. And Jason Kelce had to cancel the podcast until the next day because he wanted to rip Travis's head off. I mean, the Eagles are in a bad way. There's tons of pressure. Is Sirianni going to get dumped? I would say no, but man, Jeffrey Lurie and his girlfriend sure looked absolutely despondent up in the booth tonight. It wouldn't shock me if they did pull the plug on Sirianni, which would be absolutely staggering since they were in the Super Bowl a year ago. But I don't know what's worse, their free fall offensively or their free fall defensively. But don't let anybody ever tell you that, losing your coordinators doesn't matter, because the Eagles are proof that it does matter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, like I said, this has to be studied. They're 1-7 since playing the Niners. That's tanking for the fucking first pick of the NFL draft. That's not competing. They were the first seed in the NFC, and they hobbled their way into the playoffs, and they play arguably the worst team in the NFC that made the playoffs, the 9-8 Bucks, and they got destroyed.
Right.
Destroyed.
Absolutely.
And
destroyed.
the Bucks are just the Bucks didn't even have Mike Evans didn't even do anything. Cade Otton just threw up 89 yards on you. What are you doing?
Well, and who's in this defense? I mean, Nicholas Morrow, Zach Cunningham, Avonte Maddox, big play Slay got big play carted off the field. Brandon Graham's old. Fletcher Cox is old. James Bradbury got benched. What happened to Bradbury? Bradbury was like this awesome corner that was picking off passes. Jordan Davis is fat and out of shape. Bradley Roby's old. Nolan Smith has pretty much barely played this year. I mean, it's amazing, man. They were cruising. They were on top. The Niners knocked them off their perch, and like they have not been the same since that game. I mean, in some ways, their season is the most enjoyable because they were riding high, and the Niners came to town, and the bottom fell out, and it's just a beautiful thing. Yeah, seriously, they just got absolutely staggered with a right, and they have not been able to get up the rest of the season. I mean, it's been awesome to watch.
It's unbelievable too, because just going after the draft, you look at the Eagles team, and that was one of the main takeaways from the draft for me. It was wow, the Eagles, even though they lost Javon Hargrave, they lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
They drafted Jalen Carter, though.
Yeah, they drafted Jalen Carter. They got Jordan Davis. They got Keely Ringo. They were building a super team. I'm like, wow, those are
traded for Kevin Byard.
Yeah, it's like they were building a super team on that defensive line, and the secondary. You thought the secondary was still going to be able to hold up. I'll say this, going into the Niners game. Obviously, everyone respected the Eagles. They were 10-1, and they were top of the NFC, best team in the NFL. But there were indications at the time. There were indications that they were playing a lot of long games, that their defense metrics weren't really up to, high standards. They were like 20th or 22nd in their pass defense. There were indications that the Niners could, destroy them. Or not destroy them, but beat them. But no one would have predicted this ever. No one ever. Even if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're never saying, "Oh, I think the Eagles they're bad. Like they're going to go 1-7." Like what? How do you? And you looked at their you've seen their schedule. They lost to some terrible team. They lost to the Cardinals. They lost to the Giants. It's like it's bad. If you're an Eagles fan, it's bad.
Eagles die. You know what? And it couldn't have happened to a scummier fan base. Those people are seriously the lowest of low.
And their players, their players talk the most trash. I think their players talk the most trash.
And their fans are a joke. I mean, what was the score of the Niner game at halftime? It was like 14-6 or something, wasn't it? And their fans booed them off the field. What kind of fans boo a team down 14-6 at home? I mean, going into the locker room. So it's gonna be a long winter in Philly. The Phillies will not be in Florida training for a few more months, or for a few more weeks, I should say. And they got another month of misery there. I'd love to hear what Sports Talk Radio has sounded like and will sound like there for the next 2-3 weeks. I mean, just absolutely the lowest of low. Just everybody miserable, kicking snow, walking around a city that's infested with rats and just sitting there and just sucking it up, watching the Niners hopefully in the bowl.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It's honestly, yeah. It's like a Super Bowl hangover from a Super Bowl they didn't win,
Right.
It's like they already made it and they're checked out or something. They're just that team is checked out. Their secondary tackling is horrendous.
I would love to see Sirianni get just taken out. That would be fantastic. That would just be awesome. As smug as he was with his, wait a second. Let me share the screen on one more here because this one is just absolutely, this is the most loathsome moment of the year for Sirianni and his crew. All right, we'll share the screen. We'll get out of this idiot and we'll go to this idiot. We'll go from one idiot to another idiot here. Here is Sirianni. Sirianni's Eagles circled the drain pretty much after this moment.
There's Big Dom on the right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is he even? No one's given me a firm answer on this. What does Sirianni do?
He hangs out with Big Dom and eats salami sandwiches. I don't know. I mean, seriously, what does he do? You're not. He has as much. You know. I mean, he reminds me of Bobby Bowden. He's not the O coordinator. He wasn't the D coordinator. He's just a guy talking trash.
Yeah, it's like every game I watch, it's like Joe Buck's always like, Kyle Shanahan, one of the best play callers in the NFL. And then you get to Sirianni, it's like, and there's Nick Sirianni, great coach. It's like, for what? Like, explain to me. Like, tell me what he's so good at.
Not only
That's why
that,
they're going to fire him. That's why they're firing him.
How about these people that were saying that Sirianni was way better? Remember the coach rankings earlier this year? That Sirianni was a much better coach than Shanahan. I think even our buddy Chase Sr., who I really enjoy, but I think Chase Sr. ranked Sirianni over Shanahan.
I do remember a coach list that Kyle was like 7 on or something, like 6 on.
I mean, seriously. Come on. See ya, Nick. See you down at the deli with Big Dom tomorrow. You'll have plenty of time to talk about his boiler as you guys are watching the rest of the playoffs at home.
The sky is falling in Philly. I'm looking and I'm seeing people talk about Jalen Hurts isn't the guy anymore. I mean,
That's awesome.
That's incredible. They're
just questioning their existence on the planet right now. What are we even doing here?
Not the guy. I mean, dude, what happened? I thought going into the Super Bowl, he was like the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I mean, like now he's I don't know if he's a winner anymore. Like, I don't know if he could take us there. It's like, geez, man. Jeez, that's tough, man.
Yeah. From the penthouse to the outhouse in the blink of an eye. Couldn't have happened to a nicer group of fans.
Jeez.